Excellent.
Just like you.
Okay, yeah. All right, we're on YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. Hey, like, love, subscribe. I think we're like 17 from 1,000. I think we're 983. So I think we're gonna do a contest next week. What platforms are we on?
We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook is where we're streaming to.
Do a giveaway.
So we're back on Twitter too, right?
We're back on Twitter.
Yeah. So I think what we'll do is if you follow us on all three, we're gonna give away like $1,000 in Home Depot cards.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we'll do maybe 5 people get $200.
Yeah, that's cool. We're about to do a similar thing on gas cards.
Nice. Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Yes. That's excellent.
Yeah, so you're going. I had stopped Twitter, and I was thinking with all this hoopla, I'm gonna go back. Do you think?
Yeah, go back.
It's getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, we don't do TikTok. We don't do Instagram. But I think there are adults on Twitter.
I am doing those things, so.
Yeah, I think there are adults on Twitter. I think because my target audience is the members only jacket and Rockport shoes, right?
That's right.
That's who my target audience is. So we definitely know they're on Facebook. They're definitely on YouTube, and we're always trying to figure out that third platform.
Yeah.
So, are you ready to bring him? Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate, and this is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. I was just about to say, I'm all cleared up. First thing I do is cough. No, I'm good. Hey, we're here with our friend Jennifer Hernandez from Legacy Mutual Mortgage. So say hello, Jennifer.
Hey, how are you?
And everything is just basically loanwithjen.com, right?
Loan with Jen.
One N or two N's?
One. LOAN with JEN. I actually got traredmarked. I just got my
very nice.
US,
Congratulations.
like a US seal
Sure.
certificate.
Nice.
Super jazzed.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And Jen has been our go-to person for mortgages and understanding the mortgage market for, 5-6 years or so.
Couple years, few years, yeah.
Yep. So let's just talk about it. What's happening in the marketplace today?
Well, the biggest question that everybody asks is, should I wait to buy with rates going up? And my answer is no.
Yeah.
I said, first off, yes, rates are high. If you can afford the payment with whatever house you're looking at,
Sure.
do it, because in a couple years, the rates are going to come down. It's a you look at the 50-year history of rates, and then you can just Google it, and it'll come up.
Yep.
And it'll show you the bars where there's recessions. And right after a recession, there's always a dip.
Yep.
And so we're headed for a recession. It's all over. All the statistics show that we're headed in the next 12 to 18 months.
Deutsche and Citi just put out their forecast for it. Yep.
Yep. And so then we'll hit the recession, and the way that monetary policy always cures a recession is they start lowering the rates. So we're in an upward swing, and then it'll tighten and it'll go to a downward. And then everybody will be refinancing. So I'm like, don't worry, because then when we refi, we'll get rid of your PMI. Your value will be so much higher than you bought it for. So who cares? You're not going to care that it's $5,000 to refi. We're just going to roll it in. So get and lock in your appreciation. Start increasing.
Yeah, we tell that to all the mastermind members.
Yeah.
Buy. Just buy it. We think we're going to get up 30-35% over 3 years. Refi the cash out, take a lower rate, and you're good to go.
So you think it's going to be over 3 years, like 10 to 15% a year?
We are tracking 1.67% appreciation a month for the last 4 months.
Okay.
So that's 20%.
Yeah. Because Jason had said he thinks, I'm kind of telling people that I'm hearing 20% for anywhere from 3 to 5 years per year.
Yeah.
And hey, there's an article that I need to text it to you that just came out. The Freddie Mac economist said, I'm asked all the time if there's going to be a correction. If you say correction, meaning decline, no.
Right.
There'll be a stabilization.
Yeah.
of a slowdown.
Yes.
Meaning instead of 20%, it'll go down to what, 5 or 7, or we
Get
don't.
back to normalized.
Well,
yeah.
we don't know what the
3
new
to 5. Yeah.
we don't know what the new normal is going to be.
Right.
Depends on the builders.
Right. Right.
And how fast they can.
I just read something from the NAHB, the National Association of Home Builders. They're not building anything this month. Like now we're
Yeah.
pushing off again.
Well, they can't get supplies.
We can't get supplies and labor's crazy, and then we're trying to communities
Yeah.
we're working with. We've got a whole bunch of hurdles go. It's like no.
Yeah. So that's what's keeping that happening. And so when there's no new, Houston in the past has used to having, we have so much land. I mean, my goodness. And the city just keeps moving outward. And so that's what's always kept our market in check is
Right.
just go build something over there.
Go a little
And
further. Yeah.
So when the city grows, that's
Right.
where the people go. And did you know 200,000 people came to Texas last year?
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yes. Yes.
And they were from California
mostly California, Northeast. Yeah.
and Jersey and
Yeah.
New York.
I told everyone. I called everyone
Yeah.
back home. So get your ass down here.
That's right. So should you buy now? The answer is yes. Now there is a portion of people though, and let's banter about that.
Yep.
That the affordability index is gone. Like
Right.
they can't get a house that's going to fit their needs that they can afford.
That is the magic indicator. Is going to be the affordability index, and that's the one we start watching in about 3 years. Because then we're just worried about. So we talk about this all the time in our mastermind. Houston, in my mind, is the last major metropolitan area that was acting like a Midwest state. It's no longer, right? So what I meant by that was the average income prior to 2020 was $65,000. Median income, household income in this country was $65,000. And here in Houston, $65,000 2 years ago could have got you a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, brick house in Katy. They are $159,000, $189,000. So if the household's making $70,000, would they have got a $180,000 mortgage? First-time home buyer, good credit.
I mean, yeah.
2 years ago, right? So
Yeah.
So this was the last market where the median income in this country, last major market, was allowing people to buy houses. Every other major market, every top 15 major market, that was no longer the possibility. We were the last. So now what has happened is now those people are out. If you're making $70,000, you're not going to get that 300. Now the house in Katy is $329. Probably not getting it. It's going to be a stretch, right? Maybe first-time home buyer, little assistance here, someone throwing a couple things here and there. But normally, no. So what has happened now is we are behaving like a major metropolitan area. And what does that mean to us and to everyone else? Is that there's this new class of people that are doing as good as the rest of the country or better, sort of like $50,000 to $90,000 a year in median and income, but still can't afford a house. And so they're
left behind.
They become perpetual renters. They become the tenants you really want. So they're all over LA. They're all over the Northeast. They're all over Miami. There's just that crowd of, hey, I don't quite make $100,000. And that's why I need to buy a house here in name a major metropolitan area. But so now I have to rent.
So this is a new territory for Texas.
Houston, yeah, Texas.
So
Dallas led the way. Austin, yep.
So I asked you last week, you may not remember, but when I saw you, I said, "Hey, you're from California. Y'all's prices have been inflated for a long time.
Yes.
So how do people do it? I've always wondered, how do
Right.
people get into houses, right?"
Well, that's an excellent question.
And you said,
Well, we're going to bring that on the way back. We got one list here. Jen, give them your information so they can reach out to you.
loanwithjen.com.
Trademarked.
Loanwithjen.com, and my phone and email and everything is there.
Excellent. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate and the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Guys, we want you to go to our website, mrtxre.com for sure. Check it all out. There's going to be information on our new YouTube channel. There's lots of really polished videos going up there. Make sure you're checking that out. Please subscribe on YouTube. Again, we just set up the daily?
Texas Real Estate Radio Network Daily.
Ooh, that's a big one. And then the other one is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind channel. So there's 2 channels up there. One is the raw feed, and the other one is the polished videos. Go check that out. Hang tight. We're going to be back when we come back from this break. What'd you say?
How come? What made you guys split? Just too much content?
Too much content.
Yeah.
So we have a raw channel.
Where like this stuff goes?
Yep, and then we have a polished channel.
Nice.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Thanks for joining us. We're here with our friend Jennifer Hernandez from Legacy Mutual Mortgage, and it's going to be loanwithjen.com, and you get all the information. This is absolutely the person you want to work with when you're doing a refi, you're buying a house. Absolutely, you want to talk to Jennifer. So, all right, the question going back to how did they do it?
Yeah, in California, these inflated values.
Yeah.
How have y'all maintained that for so long, where
Yeah.
people only make so much money?
Well, wages went up. Wages went up, or we went out a lot further. So,
And you drove 2 hours a day.
yes. No. You drove 2 hours in and 2 hours out. So the working class moved to what's known as the high desert, Palmdale and Lancaster, and they had to drive down the 14 to get to the 405, to get to the 5, and get downtown. If they were lucky, they worked in the valley. If they were really unlucky, I had someone commuting 2 hours every day, and he went out and bought a motorcycle because he could weave in between in and out of lanes and cut it down to an hour. But you just moved further away. But Palmdale and Lancaster, you can get a 3-bed, 4-bed, 3-bath at the time, big yard, $289,000, $300,000. So
Oh, wow.
you could afford it, but man, you had a really long haul. Right?
Well, and now with a lot of remote working, it's more possible.
The other thing is there's just that level of there's that whole real good income, good job renters. Period.
That just rent forever.
They just rent forever. They're going to live in a really nice little 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment in North Hollywood. It's great. Or they get a house they can rent in, and they can afford the rent, but they can't come up with the down payment, and they can't figure out how to do all this, so they got bad credit, and they'll do it. So you have two things. You just drive further out. So, you know, we have people come to us and say, hey, I can't afford a house, blah, blah, blah. And my joke is, hey, welcome to Alvin. You got to move to Alvin. You got to move to Pearland, right? What are we talking about? Welcome to Livingston, right?
Yeah.
Welcome to
Manville.
Montgomery County.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to slug it out, you know, for an hour on the way in. That's what the reality of it. Welcome to Conroe, right? Maybe you're lucky you work in the Woodlands. Maybe not so much. You're downtown Houston.
You know, I do want to mention something. What you had also said was, well, one working families went to 2.
Oh, for sure.
And
yeah.
there's a lot of people I know, and this is actually a big question that we get. So those of you that might be listening and wondering, like, okay, well, yeah, I'll just start driving Uber or DoorDash or whatever and make extra money.
1099 is horrible income, right?
Well, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But did you know that on a mainstream loan like I do, the FHA conventional, just what most of the people get, you have to have a 2-year history of carrying 2 jobs at the same time. So you got to have a 2-year history of the Uber and also your full-time job. So you can't have had a pause or anything. Like, you got to have 2 years showing us that you can carry 2 jobs maintain that. So just important to note if that's going to apply to you.
So that happened in the 90s in the major metropolitan areas. They went from single worker households to dual worker households, right? And that's how they got through that first big, you know, that 96 to 2001, right? It was a boom, right? There was another boom in this country. And they got through that by having 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reality of it.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
And I think most families are, again, here in Houston, we were blessed because this city acted like it was a Midwest city, like it was Des Moines, Iowa, right? Or it was, Tulsa. When you buy a house for $129,000 and dad only has to work and mom can stay home and, you know, do the homeschool or whatever they want to do, right?
Whatever.
Yeah, not anymore. That's it. It's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
But that's okay because every other top 15 major metropolitan area in this country has already gone through that. We're the last. That's why I came here.
So, and we're so glad you're here.
Oh, thank you.
So switching topics or similar, you had mentioned before we started that, hey, let's because we were like, hey, what are we going to talk about?
Yep.
So let's talk about what's even been going on in the last 48 hours. So tell me what
yeah.
that means. Tell me what that means to you.
So, like I said, Deutsche, Citi, and Goldman all have basically said we have a recession coming, right? So that put a lot of pressure on. But on the other side of it, the Fed said we're still raising interest rates.
Yeah.
So they're just like, hey, until the recession happens, we're going to keep going up. Now it's just a matter of if we're doing a full 0.5% or a 0.25%, right? 25 or 50.
So in line with that, some listeners may not know this, but the Fed rate, overnight funds rate, is not directly correlated with mortgage rates. And a lot of what we see now has already priced in the freak out of like, hey, we already know that they're going up, quite a bit to the end of the year. So I'm hoping that when whatever happens in the next little bit, that it won't make any kind of a movement, but we'll see.
Right. And so I hate to tell this story, but I believe it or not, I was a history political science major in college.
I didn't know that.
I found it interesting. Obviously, I didn't do anything with it, but I always found it interesting. I still follow it. So when inflation happens, there's two ways out of inflation. There's a recession or there's a war. And we have a proxy war going on right now.
Yeah, what happens when you have both?
Right. So that's what they're betting on. The fact that there is going to be a mass. So everyone's hearing it, but you don't understand. They're talking about the new Lend-Lease to Ukraine, which essentially means that we, the federal government, are going to back the credit of Ukraine for any United States military, the military-industrial complex. So they can feel comfortable selling weapons to the Ukraine because the United States are going to back it. And this goes into long-term debt from the Ukraine to the United States. Lend-Lease. This is
Gotcha.
Go back to World War II. This is Roosevelt, right? So that will absolutely, Northrop, all those, Lockheed, all those,
It'll
Baker,
create jobs.
right here in town, right? I mean, there's going to be jobs, right? So that helps. And the fact that we're doing long-term debt through the federal government from another country, it's not going to impact our monetary policy. We can still raise interest rates and squeeze that. It's unfortunate that millions of people are going to be impacted by a war that will help our economy. That's it. Now, post-war, there's always a little recession, so that's on the horizon. But, I don't like to talk about it, but I see it, and I'm just like, this is... So when he says, I'm talking about Jason, he says, I got about a year. I'm like, I think you're right.
Before the recession hits.
Yeah.
And then the way out of what happens with the rates and the rates going down,
and it goes down,
is going to help the affordability gap.
Yes.
So we don't know how far down they're going to go. We don't know when it's going to happen.
Right.
But mortgage interest rates like bad news, unfortunately.
Yes.
So recession and numbers not what expected and Debbie Downer kind of news. That's what they like.
Hey guys, we're going to talk more about this when we come back from the break. This is Robert with Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is Jennifer Hernandez with Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Go to loanwithjen.com. Hang tight. We'll be back. There's one caveat to that.
Yeah.
It's the thing that has me most concerned. I'll do it right now.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We're here with our fabulous long-term friend, Jennifer Hernandez from Legacy Mutual Mortgage.
Hey.
Loanwithjen.com, one N on the Gen.
Yep.
So we're talking about, the economy, recession, what's going to happen. The interest rates will go up, and then they'll always come down, right? So we know that. Like you said, you can follow the charts. So my only concern with all this is, and we talked about it on another show, is that our inflation is both demand side and supply side. And the fact that there's just not enough products for us to buy.
Which hasn't happened really before.
Has happened in a very long time, right? That was stagnation under Carter when all these groups around the world started putting these little cartels together. And and OPEC, right? And there was OPEC, then there was an aluminum cartel, then there was a banana cartel, and all this other stuff impacting imports to the United States, and that creates stagnation. Anyway, if the recession is driven by the supply side, there's nothing you're going to do with the interest rates to fix that.
Yeah.
That's my only concern. If it is driven by the supply side, monetary policy has nothing to do with it.
In other
That's
words,
called stagnation.
if we continue to have a lack of supply.
Yes. Doesn't matter if we lower the interest rate to zero. There's still
you
not
still
enough
can't you still can't get the product.
Yeah.
You can raise it, you can lower it, there's still.
Yeah.
Well, and that's going to depend on our relationship with overseas, which
Yes. Yes, absolutely. That's all that stuff. So, sometimes we're stupid and goofy on the air, but most of the time we sit around reading articles about this and trying to figure out, hey,
Yeah.
what's the next 60 days look like? What's the next 6 months look like? But overall, if you're a homeowner and you have a good job and you want to be a homeowner, go buy your house.
now I'm still seeing, I get a handful of good percentage of clients that say, yeah, we're just going to sit it out. We're just going to wait for things to calm down.
That's great.
Is it?
Yeah, they're going to save 1% on the interest, and the house is going to be $80,000 more expensive. Good for them.
Yeah. Well,
They're masters.
it's
They're financial masters. They're losing $80,000 over 1%, which is, I don't know. Someone told me like every half a point is like $25 on your mortgage or something like that. So
Well, it's a definitely rock and a hard spot because they desperately want to be homeowners, and I don't know what. I mean, I know the government. My owner of our company of Legacy was at a conference, and he actually got to have lunch and sit at a table with someone from Freddie Mac.
yeah,
And they were saying how, look, yeah, we're as fast as we can. We're trying to brainstorm solutions.
yeah.
I think officially, maybe the 40-year mortgage might come back. Which, I know unofficially, I think some people have it, but not many, do they?
It's still a supply side issue, though, right?
Yeah.
So you have a 40-year mortgage, so now we're just going to pay a lot more for the 1.2 months of inventory on the market.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And we're not seeing foreclosures really that are flooding the market.
that's nonsense. Yeah, that ain't happening.
Yeah, that whole forbearance thing, people just went right from forbearance back into.
Or they paid cash and paid off their house. 37% of folks in forbearance just stroked a check and paid off the house.
Yeah. Or sold, or said,
Or
yeah,
sold
we're
it,
just going
yeah,
to sell it
yeah.
and move and take the equity out.
No,
and
all
run.
that stuff that was thinking, here's
Oh,
where we're
these
at.
foreclosures are going to hit the
No,
market.
there's a forbearance, 5 million homes. I'm like, yeah, no. We're back to you got to work hard to find a deal,
Yeah.
right? Now, I don't want to boast, but I have 166 single-family houses I'm looking at right now. We want to buy them all.
Oh, to go buy them all.
Buy
like
'em
a
all.
big a big sweep.
Yeah.
And then are you going to run them all or are you going to sell them?
About a third will come to us, a third will come to a partner, and a third will go to the mastermind.
Yeah.
So they'll have investment properties, but they're all
Somewhere.
working class neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Excuse me, we're buying the worst home in a working class neighborhood. So like Independence Heights and Southgate and places like that.
And then you'll spruce it up
We'll do a full gut rehab on them.
on all of them?
On everyone that needs it, yeah. Yeah, that is really what we do.
So how did you, is it a group that's selling them and you're buying them as a package or you individually identified the 166?
Yes and yes and yes and yes. People came in with this, people came in with this, people came in with this. We're like, put it on the board. And then we're sitting there and we're like, hey, by the time we buy it, renovate it, and put it out for refi, it's going to be 15% more if the model holds.
So let's do it.
So let's do it. Mm-hmm. Even if they're a little tight now, it'll all be nice. There'll be nice fat meat margin come.
So that's the cool thing about hanging with you guys is that you have these deals and then you give first dibs or you let
To
your
the mastermind,
mastermind
yeah,
group know
absolutely.
about it. Now, how many people are in your mastermind?
We're almost at 100 now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, almost. At
And
100.
is it a commitment of a certain time or is it indefinite or how does that group work?
We charge by the year, and we go down each year, and after the fourth year, it's free for life.
Oh, nice.
So you always have a group to lean on and get questions answered and stuff like that. Yeah.
There's probably a lot of cool deals that happen
We have a lot of cool deals. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
because y'all wholesale to each other too.
We
and-
wholesale to each other. We also do small apartment syndications. and
That's fun.
Airbnbs. Yeah, it's good.
That's
It's
lots of fun.
we're doing the right thing there. We're helping. Our goal is to help 250 people become real estate millionaires.
Nice.
Right? Quite frankly, most of them are already millionaires. They're just not millionaires in real estate. So now
Yeah.
they're looking to diversify. And
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, it's easy to work with investors that have 800 credit score, $100,000 cash laying around, and make $250,000 a year, right? I'll get any mortgage any time of the day, right? So it's easy to work with those folks.
So online, just in doing some research, because I'm always looking to see like, hey, what are some of the hot topics that we can talk about that are relevant, right?
Yep.
So some of the searches that have been coming up is people want to know, like they're interested in ways they can make money with real estate.
Sure.
So the simplest, easiest way to get started, I think this is the answer I want you to tell me, is to buy your own primary.
No.
And then live there a year, and then
2 years, right?
2 years.
Yeah.
But then leave it. Well, you could do it a year though, and then leave it behind. It's only 2 if
You
you want to
can.
avoid capital gains.
Yes, you can
Yeah.
do that. Yep.
But then, so if you let's say you only live there a year, and then you leave it behind and go to another one.
Yeah.
When you sell it 10 years later.
No. So how many years do I have to wait till I become a first-time home buyer again with FHA?
3.
Hold it for 3 years and go out and do another 3.5% down
Well,
loan.
but you can't have had title. Like if you've owned that other place, you don't qualify for the first time because you.
Well, what if I flip it into an LLC as soon as I buy it?
Possibly. I got to check on that one.
I believe the law is the intent, right? So,
Yeah.
hey, I wanted to live here, but it didn't work out, and I felt like, hey, I can make more money doing some other things. That is absolutely legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Your Honor, I felt like I wanted to make more money. Is that okay? Yes, it's okay. You can go make more money in your life, and then you can move it over into something like that, yeah.
So buying a property and then leaving it.
We always tell
to
people to go
rent it out.
flip your primary residence every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Flip it and rent it out and accumulate and
Yep.
go on to the next one. Do
Yep.
low down on the next one.
Well, yes. I always want to have a pool. So how much time we have?
A little over.
All right. Jen, give me your contact information.
Loanwithjen, JEN.com.
Excellent. Jennifer is with Legacy Mutual Mortgage. She also does a lot of speaking. She's available to talk to your group, so actually reach out to her. That'd be great. I'm Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Make sure you check out our YouTube channels. What is it again? Come on, man.
Texas Real Estate Radio Network.
Texas Real Estate Radio Network Daily. Oh, my goodness.
It's a mouthful.
And the Texas Real Estate Mastermind. Okay, so check out those two channels. Actually, don't subscribe yet because we're going to give a giveaway next month. Just wait. I'm just telling you the truth. I would love for you to subscribe to it, but
I
don't.
want the Home Depot
Yeah,
card.
you're going to get the Home Depot card. All right, hang tight. We'll be back. It's not that it's going to matter. We're going to go from 985 to 987. Woo! Hey, welcome back, everyone. Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We're joined by Jennifer from Legacy Mutual Mortgage.
Hey.
And it's loanwithjen.com.
Yep.
Great. So, yeah, here's the only caveat. If you've got kids, then you're all about the school system. Or if you're an empty nester, your kids are growing up, or you never had kids, then I would be flipping the house you live in every 3 years. But for me, I have to have a pool. So I don't like to rent houses with pools. So for me, it would be a flip. And we're strongly considering the house we have in Cypress, which I bought at $290 and is now worth $450. Mm-hmm. Waiting another year, finishing up a little bit of work inside, and then going ahead and turn around and trying to get $500,000 for it and start the process over. But I'd have to find a pool because this state is insanely hot.
Yeah, you gotta
July and
have a
August.
pool.
Yes, absolutely. So that would be the only thing for me. But yeah, you can absolutely find money in your own house. If you're looking for wealth, right, big paydays, you're going to do that long-term flip or hold it, right? The equity's going to be there. If you're looking for cash, we're all about Airbnb.
Yeah.
Yep, Airbnb is the way to get cash.
Just be a permanent Airbnb-er. Like have a property and just go on short term. Is there enough demand for that in a city like Houston? I mean, we're not like a resort vacation type area. So what type of people are using an Airbnb here? Just people
Anyone
that are
who works
moving?
for Exxon that doesn't live in Texas. Because they have to come down a week or 2 weeks or a month out of the year.
So people are choosing Airbnbs over hotels.
Oh, heck yeah.
So the hotel industry, what do you predict is going to happen there?
Well, see what happened in the hotel industry was prior to COVID, local banks had said no more hotel funding. Our portfolio is maxed. So by 2018, 2019, all the regional banks had already stopped lending to hotels. You had to go find a national lender to build your hotel. And back in 2012, coming out of that whole craziness, all the flags got shuffled. So all the old time flags are just thrown away, and there's new flags. So it's not Howard Johnson now; it's Sophie, right, or something sexy, right? So there was a big shift in the hotel industry, but they stopped funding in 2018, 2019. So for the last 4 years, there's not a lot of hotel rooms being built in Houston. I mean, just look around, right?
Yeah.
But 2015, 2016, you couldn't drive down to 45 without seeing 5 or 6 hotels under construction. So there's nothing new, and Airbnb is filling that void and doing very, very well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, people want the comforts of home.
You get everything. I mean, with some of those, we put a bike in. Hey, it comes with a bike. It's at the beach. Got a beachcomber bike. Come in and drive the bike, right? Or, hey, we are some of our Airbnbs have pools, right? Or hot tubs, and you don't have to worry about other guests. It's all private. So, yeah, Airbnbs do very, very well, except for HOAs.
Yeah.
HOAs don't like it.
HOAs don't like you guys.
Yeah, most.
Yeah.
Got a lot of neighborhoods where, like, who's pulling up in that car, right?
Yep.
The unknown's scary. So Airbnb will make it cash. It's about a 5x multiplier in cash flow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because you can, short term, you can rent out longer
I feel like
than
you're interviewing me. I'm talking too much.
No, I like it. I mean, I'm interested. I want to, I want to learn.
So I'll tell you, this is one of our great stories. We bought a house in Texas City. It was originally a 2-1 with a big garage and a breezeway, and they converted the breezeway into 2 more bedrooms and a
Nice.
bath. So I have a 4-2,
4-2.
about 1,450 square feet. It's on a really nice, quiet street in Texas City. And I said to our buddy who did a lot of rentals down there, I said, I think I can get $1,500, $1,600 a month on that. And he said, there's no way you're going to be able to get that. I said, well, what if I Airbnb it? And he said, Airbnb doesn't work in Texas City. I said, okay. So I Airbnb'd it. I can tell you that my average month is about $2,500 there, and my best month has been $6,000.
Even if you have a little bit of vacancy.
Yep. So I have a really big backyard, so I put a gate, a double gate, and I just put RV and boat parking. And people with boats who are on the coast or people with RV who want a place they could drive it, they can clean it right there.
Wow.
Yeah. So right now I have a guest in there for a full month, and it's $4,994, almost $5,000.
Wow.
Right?
That's super cool. Yeah, because it's close to, it's right on
Close
the
to
water.
everything, yeah.
And it's close to Galveston.
And there's refineries there where people work and have to come down for long periods of time.
That's nice.
Yeah. My PITI on it is $873.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And there's $80,000 in equity in the house.
Nice.
Right. So that's
a good one.
a good one to do. And I'll just tell you this. People ask, where can you do Airbnb? And my rule of thumb is this. Wherever you feel comfortable that you or your wife or your daughter or your mother can walk a dog at 8 o'clock at night. If you feel comfortable that you can go or your daughter can go or your mom can go or your wife or your husband can go walk the dog at 8 o'clock in the night, not be harassed, not have any problems, that's an Airbnb neighborhood.
Wow.
That's it. It's all about the safety.
Nice.
Yep. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to. I'm really enjoying educating people on YouTube.
You do a lot of it, right? Yeah.
On Loan with Jen, I'm really, getting the word out there with just realtors and home buyers, and I've been doing a lot of webinars for past clients, and I don't know,
Aren't any of those
just
classes
educating
CE
a lot.
approved? Mm-mm. Oh, why don't you do some of that?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time.
I know.
A lot of extra,
We
you know.
do 2 CE classes a month here.
But you know, I'm looking forward to that, and you know, this cycle will, you know, business is a little bit down, but we're getting.
Enjoy the summer.
We're
Jen.
doing some new things
Yep.
to be in better contact with our past clients, and it's just fun. We're just supporting realtors all we can.
Absolutely.
And, you know,
Yeah.
I'm just looking forward to having, like you're right, having a good summer,
Have a
but
good
working
summer.
working hard.
You'll be back at it really hard in October or November. It'll be all
Well,
crazy.
I like to grind it all the time.
Good.
But we
I'm
yeah.
going to Hawaii in 2 weeks.
Oh, nice. So
Yeah.
you're already in vacay mode.
No, I'm not. I'm in the panic before vacation mode. I can't leave. I can't leave.
Yeah,
I
you
can't leave.
can.
That type of thing. So I'm dealing with all that. But
Oh yeah, you're doing good.
yeah.
Well,
but
thanks for having me on today.
of course.
I
We
appreciate
really
it. It's
appreciate
always
you coming
nice.
out.
I always enjoy. We never plan what we're going to talk about, and we always find lots of good stuff.
there's always
So
good stuff
thank
in
you
real
so
estate.
much.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
loanwithjen.com.
Loan with Jen.
You also have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, Loan with Jen.
Yep. It's
And
excellent.
we're basically experts in the stuff that mostly fits in the box. Like I do non-QM or QM loans.
Yep.
I do QM like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, the conventional, FHA, down payment assistance, VA, USDA. That's my wheelhouse. And jumbo.
What's down payment assistant?
It's
What does
where
that look like these days?
the state has
Couple programs?
Yeah, the rate's anywhere from 6 to 6.5, depending on which program, which isn't really that much higher than the regular market. But the money right now, it's all repayable. There's no grant money, but that's okay. I'm like, y'all, it doesn't matter. Refinance in a few years, you'll pay
Take
it
'em
back
out.
then.
Yeah, take out the Fed. Yeah.
Because
Take out the state.
your
Nice.
place will be worth so much more, you know. But it's for a lot of people. I notice, I'll tell you two things. The number one monthly payment that I think I hear people want when I'm talking to first-time buyers is $1,500 a month. And they're going to have to amend that because that only gets you with the
you
rates
can't
where
even-
they
you
are.
can't
That
even
gets
find
you
rent
it gets you a
places.
180 house.
You almost don't want to live in a $1,500
Well,
rental, right?
And like you said, you can only get a 180 house if you go live in like Willis, Texas.
Right, yeah.
Way nothing wrong with Willis, but
Welcome
it's
to Alvin.
far.
Yep, yep.
It's far.
Yeah.
So that's a super popular payment, and a lot of people just have $5,000 to $6,000 to close. And so even with down payment assistance now,
It's tight.
with the price of the houses, you probably need, in most cases, because sellers aren't paying title policies,
Right.
you need $8,000 to $12,000 outside of the assistance to make it work for a 220 house. So, you know, it's for some people, they just need to save more or see if they can get a gift or take from their 401k or, you know, we just have to be creative, but don't be afraid to just call. I just like have a conversation with everybody. I do a 10-minute intro
Yeah.
call.
Take
like,
the call.
No,
Yeah.
no, you know, no obligation or no fancy. Like I'm not going to take your social or I just want to talk and just hear your story. And then we can say, okay, yeah, like let's go. This is what it looks like. Let's go to the next step. So I know it's a scary thing for some people, but I'm hoping, you know, I don't bite. I'm not a fire breathing dragon. So I just say, yeah, just have them call me.
Fantastic. And that's
Yeah.
loanwithjen.com. Hey, everyone, thanks for joining us tonight. We'll be back with a short little message, and then we're done. Thanks.
See ya.
Good job, Jen.